the number one undisputed reason weed control is difficult is the definition of a weed. The definition of a weed is an undesired plant or a plant out of place. And so this makes weed control difficult because if there was no relativity to it, if it wasn't related to what somebody thinks or desires, weed control would be so much easier. But you have to think, you have to get in the brain of the person who's calling it a weed or who wants the weed control. And just let me tell you, friends, that is difficult because the different times of year, different things look different. They help in different ways or not help, or undesirable in different ways. And so every single time you have to realize that, you have to determine what that is or what that means. There's so many points and things to talk about with this number one point. So please look for our video on YouTube and like and subscribe to this channel if you haven't. Reason number two, weed control is difficult when there's a variation of turf types. And the reason that is, regardless of why that is, the reason that makes it difficult is because when you spray post-emerge herbicides or weed killer, you have to consider what type of turf you're spraying because they all tolerate different levels of that particular herbicide. Or when you put out pre-emerge to prevent weeds, weed preventer, they, according to how the grass grows, is going to depend on whether or not you should or shouldn't put the pre-emerge on the ground, or how much you should or when you should, according to when that turf grass grows, with warm season grasses when it runs across the ground. And so, since there's a multiplicity or variation of turf types within a singular lawn, it just makes it a lot more difficult, and you have to consider a lot more. Reason number three that weed control is difficult is because of the weed seed bank. The weed seed bank refers to the place that you can go and find all the weed seeds, the ground. The ground is where all of the seeds are that become weeds, and the weed seed bank is very rich. In Mississippi specifically, I know there's over 1,000 seeds or weed seeds per square inch. 1,000 per square inch. And so you can imagine why that makes weed control difficult. It's because you kill one weed and now there's lots of other seeds wanting to take its place. Hopefully it's the seeds that you want to be there. But there's 1,000 per square inch. And so that just makes it difficult because you've always got to be ready for, hey, what's coming up next? Reason number four weed control is difficult is because nearby plants make it difficult. If you don't have nearby plants that you're trying to keep alive, it makes it so much easier. But like right here on this ditch bank, no concern for trying to keep that stuff alive. So guess what? As long as it's safe for the environment, you can spray whatever you want to kill that stuff. You need to always stick to what the labels say. But like in a turf grass situation, you can't just spray whatever you want because you have to try to keep the grass alive that you're spraying around. And so you need to understand what keeps that grass alive of what you're spraying around. And you need to spray stuff, again, that's still safe for the environment, safe for people. Let the scientists decide that, not yourself. And so it just, nearby plants make it difficult. It's a battle that you have to fight. Reason number five weed control is difficult is people. Yes, people. And that's because people are involved with weed control. You have applicators, you have bosses, you have customers. And each of those dynamics have a layer of difficulty. And mistakes can be made. Communication is part of it, and the lack thereof. And so, you can't just decide to get rid of people. People are the reason that we have weed control, is because we have plants that aren't in the places they're wanted. More on that with reason number one, weed control is difficult. So stay tuned for that. We're gonna do at least 15 reasons that weed control is difficult, but hey, people are involved, and so that's why it's number 5.